What's up, Schwartz Force? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're finally taking a look at my Seiko Fuyugeshiki watch, which is a part of the Seiko Presage Cocktail Time series. And if you've lusted after the Grand Seiko Snowflake dial like me, but wanted a more affordable option, then stick around and see if this one will scratch that itch for you. Now, this particular model is reference number SRPC97J1, and it is limited to 7,000 pieces, which doesn't really seem so limited when you think about it. Now, that said, you can still find these new and used on eBay and other secondary markets for about $650 to $850. Now, I know, I can read your mind. And this review will help you decide if it's actually worth that price point, so be sure to stick around till the end and find out if I recommend buying this watch or not. Now, in case you're new to the channel, my name's Dave, may the Schwartz be with you, and hey, did you know, it's a great day to wear a watch. Today I have on my Benyar BY5174 Panerai Radiomir homage, say that 10 times fast, I dare you, and on a new Straps Co leather strap which I just picked up, and I will be doing a video on coming out with not just this strap but a few others as well, pairing it up with this watch. But if you haven't seen my review on this watch, check out the link up here. I highly recommend it. And make sure you subscribe to the channel because I have a bone to pick with this brand, and that video you won't want to miss, I promise you. So make sure you tap that bell for notifications as well. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, so here we have it, this Seiko Fuyugeshiki watch, and you'll notice there's a crystal here, and we'll get into that here now because there's a bit of a story there. So first I got to do a shout out to Brandon with Case and Dial. Basically what happened is the reason I was able to get this watch at such a good deal is because the mineral crystal had a scratch in it. So the seller on eBay mentioned, he pointed that out, and they were like, look, this crystal has a really deep gash. They said it was in a position you wouldn't really see, which at the time when it was on the watch, it was around the 4 o'clock position. So you could definitely notice it. And I mean, it's a pretty good size as you can see there. And it was just something where a lot of people weren't willing to pay for the watch because of the damage to it. And I thought to myself, and I had looked around, I'm like, you know, if I can upgrade that crystal and replace it with a Hardlex, well, I didn't even know. Okay, so let me take a step back. So I didn't know at the time that this came with Hardlex. I just assumed it was Sapphire, and it's not. So that kind of had me thinking like, okay, well, I can replace it with another Hardlex crystal, I'm sure. But even better, Mark at Long Island, he actually sells the Sapphire box domed crystals for the Cocktail series watches. And so I looked it up, yep, it was gonna fit with this one, and I reached out to Brandon with Case and Dial. So shout out to Brandon, one of the Seiko modder extraordinaires, and I actually had him on our 12 Hours of Christmas special that I did with Average Joe. So you should definitely check it out. He was came onto the channel and talked to us for about an hour. I'll put a link up here, you can check it out, but I'm gonna also link his Instagram so you can go hit him up. If you have Seiko projects that you're interested in or certain mods, you can definitely reach out to him. I reached out to him and said, hey, if I buy the Sapphire Crystal, how easy would it be for me to take on this project myself? And he kind of advised like, look, you know, being a first starting out, you don't have the tools necessary to do it, like the UV lamp for the glue. It's like a $200, you know, lamp you'd have to buy up front. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let me, would you mind doing it for me? How comfortable would you feel doing the upgrade? He's like, yeah, send it on over. So I, of course, the reason I'm doing the review on this watch so late is because I had waited to buy the crystal and then, of course, shipped it out to Brandon, he did a phenomenal job. I'm going to show you guys some pictures here of the whole process that we went through. And basically, he took his time, used the correct stuff. He wasn't cutting corners, and just did an amazing job. So what you're seeing now in front of you is the Seiko Presage Fuyugeshiki with a sapphire domed crystal, box domed crystal. So from what I understand, what Mark with Long Island Watches was saying is that it's very difficult to make sapphire in that kind of shape. So it's not easy, which is why buying that crystal cost me $95, or basically $100 to have the crystal. So just something to keep in mind if you were going to upgrade to sapphire from Hardlex on your Presage series watches or cocktail time watches, you're looking at about $100 before any other labor or shipping or anything else like that. So just wanted to point that out, and kind of that's my story, and do a shout out for Brandon. Thanks for all the hard work, my friend. You did an awesome job, and I've been enjoying this watch a whole heck of a lot more because it doesn't have that little scratch, and I don't have to baby it as much necessarily because now we have sapphire. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the measurements and all the specs. I mean, look at this. What a beautiful watch. Just that dial, oh my gosh, and the sapphire just makes it look even more clean. I swear, in some lighting, it looks like this thing doesn't even have a crystal on it. It is amazing. But let's start off with some measurements. Okay, so case diameter is around 40.5 millimeters. If we include the crown, and you can see how it's much larger, protrudes out, puts us at 44 millimeters. So lug to lug height is bringing us right at 47 millimeters, which is awesome. And then the case thickness with that domed, box domed sapphire crystal is going to be right at around 12 to 12.5 millimeters. So it does rise up quite a bit, as you can see there. We do have an exhibition case back as well. But man, real quick, just got to point out fingerprint magnet. That's why I got the yoga hand on, because this bracelet has a lot of high polish. You can see there in that kind of 5-link pattern, brushed and polished, and it is high polish on the sides. As you can see, individual links, so each link can be removed, which is great. Now, unfortunately, I got to point out that this is a real basic bracelet, and at this price point, even though it is all stainless steel, the fact that we have that kind of stamped butterfly, double deployment butterfly clasp is a bummer. I would have loved to have seen something a little more substantial, milled solid stainless steel. You can see where it's folded. I mean, the links, it's just kind of a letdown. And then on top of that, I don't know if you can see that, but we have hollow end links. This is probably my biggest gripes about the watch, were the fact that hollow end links and then Hardlex Crystal at the price point for the Presage series and the cocktail time watches, it just, I don't know if they're all like that, but that's such a letdown. And I mean, it makes it even harder to spend more money on a watch like that. Now, if you love the bracelet, it's just something you're going to have to overlook. It's a really nice bracelet, but this watch actually plays really well with so many different strap materials and strap colors. I have been rocking this thing on a lot of kind of wintry themed materials and colors, and I'll get into that here in a second. Now, this is featuring a 316L solid stainless steel case. We do have a exhibition case back, and this does have 50 meters of water resistance. So again, for being a dress watch, not terrible. And as you can see, indication here, it is a limited edition. Number 2036 out of 7,000. So 7,000 pieces seems like quite a bit. Crown has the Seiko S branding on it, nice coin edge. And you can see, it reminds me of a little Reese's peanut butter cup, just the shape of it and the coin edge size. Thumbs up for peanut butter cups if you're into that. Now, when we get on the dial, we see here just amazing finishing with that snowflake dial. Gives it that awesome texture. And the finishing on the hands, Dauphine style hands in high polish, that blued needle second hand, the little diamond on the counterbalance end, just really, really nice. And then we see Seiko branding. I like that they didn't go real crazy. The Seiko, I feel like the font sizing is perfect. It just says Presage automatic. And then we see, of course, made in Japan down at 6 o'clock. These hour markers are faceted. And we notice that at 12, 3, 6, and 9, they are a little bit thicker and wider than the other hour indices, but this thing just plays with the light so well. and the finishing on it is just phenomenal. I know it's not Grand Seiko level finishing, but it's amazing. Look at these hands. It's really where this watch shines, is even though the bracelet isn't the best, even though it has Hardlex Crystal, not this particular one anymore, but started off with Hardlex Crystal, it's kind of easy to overlook once you fall in love with the dial and the finishing and just the overall quality. You do have split second indices there on the chapter ring, of course just printed minute markers in between those applied hour markers. We do have a date window at 3 o'clock, and as you can see, that is with a box around it. Print on the date wheel is nice and clear, and of course this does hand wind and hack. Now this particular watch is powered by the Seiko 4R35B movement. That is a 23 jewel automatic, and as you can see they're finished really nicely. Yeah, and we'll get into the accuracy here in a moment, but it does hack in position 2, and we see of course adjusting the time is very smooth with the minute and hour hands. Date change starts just at around 11 o'clock, and that will click over just after midnight, so beautiful to see there. Then when we go into position 1, we can of course rotate the date. It is a little fast as far as the rotation with the gear ratio, but if you go slow enough, it'll pop into the next date. Doesn't really have any alignment issues that I can see. Everything seems to be pretty well aligned there in that window. Okay, so we see there's absence of lume on this watch. It is a dress watch, so there's no lume applied, but I wanted to just show you, I have it off the bracelet here, and there you see those hollowed in links just to upset me a little bit more. But I'm gonna show you some of my favorite straps that I've paired with this watch so far. And even though, you know, it's a little more dressy piece, you can downplay it with different strap materials and colors, but it's not so casual that you could go with like a NATO, in my opinion. So I wouldn't say that you could put any strap on this as far as being like a strap monster, but it's pretty darn close. So one of my favorites for this Christmas and winter season has been this Harris tweed and this burgundy color from Vario straps. And I've been pairing this with navies and browns, and it's just been a lot of fun to wear. And it's actually gotten a couple compliments. So this kind of strap I think is definitely going to complement this type of watch very well. Now here's another one of my favorites. This is a suede strap from Straps Co. in this light blue color. As you can see, just again, plays with that snowflake dial so well. Now if you want to kick it up a notch, check out this green suede strap, and this I put on a single deployant stainless steel clasp, and this is just, man, in my opinion, look at this. It reminds me of like Christmas tree pine needles on a snowy ground. Just an amazing pair right there. And I'm gonna show you here, as simple as it is, with that single deployant clasp, you just tuck it in and you're ready to go. Tell me that's not the perfect Christmas combo right there. Now I showed you tweed and I showed you suede. Here is bridal leather in this natural leather color. And this is also on a single deployant stainless steel clasp. And look at that. This thing I could definitely wear pretty much all year round. So while the bridal leather is a little more casual, you can go with the croc leather and dress it up for the night. I love the tapered style on this dark brown, chocolate brown crocodile embossed leather. Now you don't always have to stick with the traditional leather colors either. This is a really nice navy blue leather strap that I have. No contrast stitching, and just plays really well with that blued second hand in my opinion. But you can see you can go with a bridal leather, you can go with a nice clean leather, or you could even go for those textured leathers. It's gonna look just amazing. So we know it has Seiko reliability, we know it looks great, but how does it perform? Well, let's go ahead and get on the time graph and take a look. So I've had this running for a couple minutes, and as you can see, it's hovering at +2 seconds per day. It has gone up to like +6 seconds per day. And so right now it just happens to be at +2. We're seeing 21,600 vibrations per hour. The amplitude is okay, it's a little low. The beat error is actually a little higher than I would have thought to have seen it. And yeah, I really can't complain. Really good accuracy in my opinion. And of course, Seiko reliability. So I'll keep an eye on the beat error over time. And of course, update you guys if I run into any problems. But so far, this thing has just been a phenomenal watch. Okay, so let's summarize. Is this a watch that I would recommend? Well, it depends. Yes, the dial is simply amazing. It has a mesmerizing look to it that you really can't get anywhere else. It's worth getting if you love and want that snowflake style dial, which I do. It's a very versatile watch, as we've seen, which plays well with so many different strap colors and materials. But for having Hardlex Crystal and a subpar bracelet, it's really hard to justify the $650 to $850 price point for this piece, which is why I say keep an eye out for one and buy one used, save some money. And while I would say upgrading the Sapphire is possible, in my eyes very much worth it, it's also hard to justify fixing something that isn't necessarily broken. So in that case, I'd probably recommend keeping the Hardlex Crystal on there, and if it happens to get damaged, then go ahead and do the Sapphire upgrade. You won't regret it, especially going with Brandon, Case and Dial. Big shout out, thanks again, buddy. And I'm gonna link his information down below for you. And I personally have been enjoying this watch this winter, but I wanna hear your thoughts on this one, so be sure to leave me a comment. I really enjoy interacting with each of you guys and gals. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more like it, feel free to join the Schwartz Force, and I'll see you guys at the next one. As always, may the Schwartz be with you. Take care.